so long is like alchemy.
Game 4, Sunday afternoon. Would the Warriors complete the sweep of the San Antonio Spurs? It's the same starting lineup that the Warriors have rolled out all 4 games. Andre Iguodala starting at point guard. Now the Spurs, remember, they made the switch to Rudy Gay in Game 2 and have held serve with that. DeJounte Murray, the young point guard, would play more in this game and have an impact. The Spurs in desperation mode, and then also kind of a win-one for the Gipper mentality. And early on, you could just see their energy and hunger was twofold as opposed to the lifeless Warriors. And you're going to get a look at Manu getting ready here to engage with the referees as this game goes on. Maybe that was a little too far. But there were a lot of keep it close calls in this game, and I don't want to overstate those, but it was a story in this game. Now, JaVale with this soft jumper here, and I'm guilty of this myself, but I think JaVale maybe deserves more touches. He's shown that he can hit the little jumper. You see Draymond flopping there, trying to give Patty Mills treatment the other way. But the thing with these 7 turnovers early on, you see this one here, right? It was just a lack of communication, guys not being in the spot at the right time or guys over-anticipating. And there were just unforced turnovers. That's the frustrating thing about it. And here was really one of the main subplots of this game was DeJounte Murray hitting 3 3-pointers. You see us dare him. If you remember in my pregame live a few nights ago, I was questioning why they weren't using him more. He has the highest ceiling, and they need him to have any shot. Clay coming off the screen, doing what he does, but he didn't do enough of what he does on this night. Now, I think this is scouting work from the Spurs right here. Watch Rudy Gay hang behind and steal this pass. That's tape work right there from the Spurs coaching staff. They realize JaVale, when he rebounds, he looks to get it into a ball handler's hands as soon as possible, and they scouted that. Draymond, again, another unforced turnover. The one positive in this game and through the series has been the rebounding, but back tap to KD, who rails the 3, but he didn't shoot it at a high clip. No one did in this game for Golden State. High pick and roll, and there it is again, a turnover, and what do you know? It's that pocket pass. Scouting, the playoffs, familiarity and scouting becomes a huge part of tendencies for guys, so Golden State has to be more dynamic in some of the habits that they've formed. As you see Danny Green finally getting something to go here, and here, how about another one? You see KD being held. They got away with a lot of action off ball, off our screens, not letting our shooters free up. KD transition, and he settled. But I guess, is it settling? I don't know what your guys' take on it. I mean, some of those are good shots. Obviously, that's a nice rhythm one, but sometimes he just falls too much in love with it. Now watch this sequence here, and you can just see who the hungrier team is, and there was a lot of these scrappy, ugly sequences, and it just seemed like San Antonio wound up with a shot every time. And I'm not knocking the effort, but there's levels of effort, right? And San Antonio's level was a notch above all game long. With Draymond at the top, you see Danny Green coming over and doubling Clay, resulting in the air ball. They put Murray on him at times too, but they were helping much stronger off those curls on Clay, and he couldn't get to his spots. The second defender was bothering him. Rudy Gay quietly maybe had the best game of any player in this game as far as just picking his spots and crucial baskets at crucial times. Patty Mills transition 3. I don't know if the Spurs had shot the 3 ball any better all season than they did in this game. And this is really going to be the story moving forward throughout the playoffs. Is Draymond going to continue to take the shot, and is he going to make enough of them? Because all our screens and curl action, everybody's going to help off Draymond, especially if we're putting him at the top where it's easy to help off of. Quinn Cook hesitating, the pause of death, couldn't knock it down. Look at Kevon on the offensive glass. And Ginobili just getting, does Ginobili ever get called for a foul? Now, I don't know if Looney has the confidence in himself or the staff does, but I would suggest using Looney in more of these pick and rolls where if he's confident enough to shoot, teams will not be able to help off of Looney as much as they do Draymond. I guarantee you that, the way he can finish above the rim a little better, and then he's just got a softer jumper, but again, usage rate and confidence from both he and the team. Powell drops it in because why not? And there's something about an elimination game when you're down 3-0 that's kind of liberating, right? There's just nothing, there's nothing to think about, right? It can be loosey-goosey. Now, a game 7, that's different. But when you're down 3-0, I think it liberates some guys to play freely, and we saw that with the Spurs. Parker getting to the right, and Quinn Cook has been abused by Tony Parker all series long. Now, here's Draymond in the left corner 3-ball, and you see PJ Tucker, Trevor Ariza, you see the corner 3-ball specialist, and I think that that's where Draymond needs to head as we move forward in this offense. I know he likes to be the initiator and the ball handler, but as far as shot making, and you're going to see Kyle Anderson cut back door, and Quinn Cook, he's just overzealous. He overreacts to every step that every guy takes, and so he's easy to run through screens, and I think he's just a bit overactive defensively, and it hurts him, and that's why he gets beat so badly sometimes. Powell still an elite passer. San Antonio looks like the quicker team down the court. That's an eye-opener, right? You could just feel it. Here's another one. Draymond not looking, David West assuming he would be in his spots, and you could pick the reasons, but they were out of sync. This is where Draymond shines. Pulling a ball off the glass, pushing in transition, making the right read, shot on your head top. And I want to credit S. Man, I got on the other night, and what has he done? He's performed. The ankle looked like it was bad. You know I'm always going to show this. I gave my opinion on this in my first take video. I believe Golden State is sandbagging Steph's return. He's a lot closer than what they're letting on to be, but only time will tell. And again, getting back against this Pelican team, very physical, very rough and tough backcourt. And Klay, that's just not a normal shot for him. So he started to press. The frustration started to build. Quinn Cook, we need to see more of this, especially against a lackluster second unit like the Spurs have. And it's really just confidence. He's got to gain the confidence in playoff experience, and you can only gain it with time. Here he is trying to do it right. He's got to stay connected to guys and in their bodies because he can't challenge with his length, but Parker just makes a tough shot there. And here's something we haven't seen in a while, a Klay up. And when you miss this one, you're like, oh boy, man, now he's really struggling, and it's getting to him. Powell, watch Rudy Gay. I mentioned Rudy Gay. His numbers didn't jump off the page or anything, but every basket he seemed to make was a timely momentum-shifting basket. Now, Draymond was great defensively, great on the glass. Here he gets away with one, right? That's just a high-risk pass, and JaVale rewards him somehow catching and finishing. And I thought JaVale should have played more. But here's what I don't like. I don't like when there's a small switched on Draymond and they force feed him in the post. It usually results in something like this because it's very telegraphed. Everybody knows he's not looking to score, so everybody's sitting on the passing lanes, and we get baited into throwing the ball into the post for Draymond. It's just not his game. Ginobili, that's a great set right there. Rewatching this though this morning, it really was a perfect storm. Like this is my KIC one here. I guess this is over the back on Draymond Green. It's just a ridiculous call. So when you compound the lack of energy and focus with the bad whistles and then San Antonio hitting every shot they put up, really the game should have never been close. And DeJounte Murray with the three, they're daring him, and he was due just like every other Spur. But the kid, if the Spurs have any hope at winning another game in this series, it rides on DeJounte Murray and them giving him confidence and then him performing well, because they don't have enough unless he can give them something. He's a much better defender than their other wings. Aldridge, Looney making the adjustments. Remember how Aldridge owned him early in this series? Looney figuring it out. Klay, rare corner three. That's more like the offense we're accustomed to. We didn't push the ball enough. It was played at the Spurs pace. Transition, we got what we wanted. There just wasn't enough transition. Rudy Gay, swing out. DeJounte, how about another one? You saw Draymond, he was like, dang, he hit one. So he halfway contests and he pays the price. As if they needed any help in this game. Here's KIC2. Look at Danny Green rip Draymond with both hands and then fall to the ground. And I want to shout out Draymond for kind of keeping his cool, because some of these, I've seen him blow up for way less of a bad call, right? It was so egregious, he was almost like, all right, I ain't even going to say nothing. There's Klay off the curl, but just 4 of 16. And I expect Klay to have a bounce back game. Third quarter, KD just took over. We abandoned the motion offense, and it was KD Slim Reaper time, and honestly, it worked. It really did keep us in the game. Is it the most pretty thing to watch? No. But with everybody struggling, we had to ride the Reaper. McGee roofs Gay at the rim. That was ambitious with the 7-footer standing there. The switch out, and then Aldridge. You see, we kind of gave him that shot. Now, I don't think you can give Aldridge it. You may give Anderson or Murray the three. Aldridge has too feathery of a touch. He can make that. Here's JaVale, pick and roll, nice Euro step dunk. And I just think that we need to use other guys in the pick and roll other than Draymond Green, because he's just so limited offensively, whether it's JaVale spacing or perhaps a Looney or David West pick and pop. There's Draymond doing what he does. Again, transition is where he shines. Allow him to make plays in transition, hustle on defense, but the high pick and roll now with his inability to shoot the three, and this is KIC really number 3, right? I didn't mark this, but I spoke on how egregious this. Look, he's still moving. I don't know when the last time I saw Ginobili even be called for a foul. So David West, he didn't like it, right? They tee up D West from 94 feet away. He goes and hops on the bike. You know he's guilty because of this. Watch. You see that? That lets you know he did something, right? But either way, it's a stupid call. More Rudy Gay to the corner. Aldridge was 3 of 3 from downtown, which it felt like every Spur in the game was. Every Spur had 3 threes. It was a rule of thumb. I had mentioned in my last video about shooting being contagious. I don't know how many of you have been a part of a game. It could be a pickup game. I'm not talking, it doesn't matter the level of basketball, but where you've been a part of a game where everybody just starts hitting shots. Kyle Anderson in the corner, right? And again, rewatching this game, I'm even less upset because I think that they did try hard. They weren't on point with it, right? But the three-point shooting from the Spurs, they may never shoot that again in their franchise history. I like this play out in transition. And again, Sean was good for us. Look at him with a little sham God hezzy, 2 hands at the rim. And the key, like I said, was lack of transition. Anytime we got out in transition, the Spurs were helpless. Expect them to pick up the pace at Oracle in Game 5. And if we really wanted to get Klay going, I mean, he had 16 shots, but they should have ISO'd him deep on the block on Patty Mills. When you say connected, watch Sean and KD here. You see how Sean, he wasn't sure they were going to switch, so they're not connected. The switching has to be predetermined in order for it to operate smoothly. And then Patty Mills here with a borderline sex crime on Klay, and Klay gets called for the foul. So not only can he not hit the broadside of a barn, but he's getting egregious calls against him. Klay probably should have got a T. I wouldn't even have been mad at him. See, Looney switches seamlessly there, right? So Looney knew the switch was coming, so that enabled him to switch smoothly and be in position to guard it, right? And then he fends off Ginobili. Now, I didn't show all the highlights. I didn't give KD his due, really, offensively with what he did in ISO ball in the second half, because we've all seen it before. Here he is ending the quarter. Now, I do think there is a silver lining. Like I said, it's not fun to watch at times, but I think it will pay dividends with the chef back. Deeper into the playoffs, when the game slows down or it's ugly, we'll need to go back to it at some point. And Durant obviously very comfortable doing it within this Warriors offense now. Rudy Gay, again, devastatingly timed shots. Draymond killing us in the left corner with the 3. We just couldn't get anything to fall from the others. It was only KD. Look at Klay. When does he get blocked? And part of that, though, is Danny Green knowing exactly where he's going to stop and pull up. The familiarity factor starts to wear in a series. With a guy like Klay who runs very precise routes, they're anticipating his stop spots. More high pick and roll with Draymond and KD. And Livingston got several baseline finishes. He's just an immaculate baseline runner. Right here, you're going to see 2 plays in a row. And Draymond making the right decision. They worked it 2 times there to get the basket. But then Kerr decided to take Livingston out and put Nick Young in part because he was bringing Iguodala in as well. He needed another shooter to put in the corner. Kyle Anderson, he hit 1, so he ran out at the non-shooter, and then it opens up the rest of his game. More high pick and roll. And this is where, see, Draymond, he's just helpless. If he doesn't have the clear space, he no longer wants to take that 3, and I don't blame him, but KD kept it rolling, and at this point it looked like we may just come all the way back and steal one with a sloppy effort. Those of you know one of my favorite lines is there's a cost for everything, right? And this is a legs right here. Draymond just doesn't have the legs. He was anticipating maybe some more contact, but the 18 rebounds and the effort on the glass is going to cost his legs somewhere else. And then this was really the end of the game. The twirling bank shot 3 from Aldridge, his 3rd of the game, right? And every time we seem to close the gap and gain some momentum, the Spurs just hit a timely basket. But I want to credit KD for he just kept coming back. He kept battling. This bodes well moving forward into the playoffs. KD, he gave us everything you could ask. Now, I know it was a high volume, low percentage game, but can you really blame him? They were asking him to do everything. He was the only one going. I don't think he forced the issue. I think KD just was trying to carry the team. That always hurts. The knee to knee always feels like death for about 5 minutes, right? Ginobili shook it off quick, and then this was fatigue, right? What are they doing here? Dribble out of the corner, move the ball. It's basketball 101. Get the ball to the top of the paint so you have more space to operate. You can just see the fatigue setting in. KD, and then it's another corner 3-ball, air ball. As San Antonio survives, and I'm not even going to front, there's a little part of me that doesn't even feel bad about this game just because you see Iguodala not wanting to take it, Nick Young, and that was it. That was the decider, right? It would have cut it to 5 with 1:40. And you're going to see Ginobili put things away with the crowd cheering them on. But I almost feel good that they didn't get swept just because of what's going on around the team. You know, it's almost like a pity win, a gentleman's sweep, if you will. Game 5, expect a much faster pace, a bounce-back game from Klay Thompson, and Golden State ending the series Tuesday night. I'm out, y'all.